Hi God's people, I am Amiki Sewa, your host for Pastor's Kids Rendezvous. Welcome to the first episode of Pastor's Kids Rendezvous. This program promises nothing but fun, educative moments where we get to learn about everything being a pastor's kid, which we are going to be referred to as PKs. So we're going to learn about everything of being a pastor's kid, the fun moments, the sad moments, educative moments. We're going to have guests who are going to educate us on what we should know, the in and outs of being a pastor's kid. On today's episode, I have with me a wonderful and elegant guest. But before I introduce the guest, you're going to give me a minute, so stay tuned whilst I get ready to introduce the guest to you. Hi people, welcome back from the short commercial break. That wasn't a commercial break, but well, let's take it as that. So as mentioned earlier, I have with me a wonderful guest. I'm just going to dive straight into it and welcome our guest. I call him Pastor Marvin, but he prefers to be called Marvin. He's a youth pastor, a very vibrant one, of course. Very, very vibrant, and he loves the work of God. Sometimes I wonder, but we'll ask him right about that. So let's welcome Pastor Marvin. Woo! Hi, also.
Hi.
Do you want the pastor or you want also? Or any of them?
No, also looks more Ghanaian.
Ghanaian and local. So we'll go with the pastor.
Sure.
I think that one is okay. All right, you are welcome to the Pastor's Kids Rendezvous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being my first guest. I don't see it as likely. I really appreciate this. Thank you so much. Okay. So let's dive straight into our discussion. Today we're actually discussing about pastor's kids and fitting into the society. I know most of you love this topic, fitting into the society. So let me ask you, please introduce yourself. First of all, introduce yourself.
So Marvin Mabel is my name. I happen to be a father of one child, and then also with a beautiful wife. And I think that's the only thing I can say for now. I'm currently a teacher by profession with so many areas of interest. And I'm so glad you have me here. And me being the first on this show too, for me is a plus. So thank you very much.
All right. So welcome once again. Let's dive straight into it. So first of all, what was it like growing up as a pastor's kid?
I didn't have that raw pastor kid situation.
Okay.
I had that of a deacon's son.
Okay.
But a deacon's son who was more or less like a pastor's son.
Okay.
Yes, because if the pastor is not there, I'll say second in command.
Okay, was your dad?
Was my dad. So that has been the growth system, and it's been quite fun.
Just fun?
Yes, quite fun.
Growing up, quite fun?
Yes, it's been fun for me in the sense that
at
the early phases of it, it looks like you are the star of the church.
Well.
So that was the fun aspect of it. I mean, people are always about you, hey.
Yeah.
And for the sake of your father's position at stake, you always look good. You dress the best to church. I mean, you have that life.
Yeah.
The way people will treat you will be different from how they will treat other kids in the church. You understand? So that is the entertaining aspect of it. There's only the growth process that becomes a challenge.
Okay. You mentioned fun. Mine wasn't fun. I don't know why you are mentioning fun. I have a colleague who says pastors think they are angels on earth. Like they think the church revolves around them. He always says that. Yeah. But I don't know the fun aspect of it. But personally, growing up, it was a bit difficult for me accepting the fact that I was a pastor's kid.
Okay.
Because people expected much more. I felt like I was too young to even understand the concept of being a pastor's kid. So being the only girl, so much that they're expecting so much. Even in school, the teachers get to know you're a pastor's kid and you are even playing. You are supposed to be a normal kid. Sure. Maybe you kick the ball to a place you shouldn't. They are like, also for you're not supposed to do that. I don't know if you had that experience.
Yes, that is why I earlier explained the fun aspect of it. The challenge is that, can we get biblical?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, let's get.
So the challenge here is that, when you look at the line of priest, there are people set aside for a special purpose.
Yes.
So as far as you are coming from a priestly home, you have to behave as such.
Okay.
Yes. So to some of us, we had this devotion thing in the morning.
Okay.
You have a prayer time.
Okay.
there were days that were set aside that you have to be doing all kinds of things.
Okay.
But then the truth is, the difficult aspects were those ones for it, because as a child, you are trying to indoctrinate me with a particular line.
Exactly.
And I have to be praying, I have to sometimes be fasting, you have to do this, you have to do that, just so that you look like a pastor's kid. So that is the struggle, I think, for most of us.
All right, so you're actually saying being a president's child, you have to behave as such.
Exactly.
So it's just like being a pastor's child, you have no other option. Well, how was it also like making friends while growing up?
Making friends while growing up was not a struggle.
For you?
At all.
So were you allowed to make friends, go out and all that?
No.
You were not? Okay.
My scope of friendship was within the confines of the church.
Okay.
Yes, because I happen to have a strict dad. Yeah, his is, even, let me just cut in with this. After senior high school, I think 4 years after, I still have to ask permission before I go out.
I still do it.
Yes, even at now, sometimes you are called out of the blue. Why is that you were leaving to somewhere like this and
you didn't
tell?
Yes, I'm grown. You know, I currently have that issue with my dad. I'm like, I am grown. Why do I have to do this, do that? I don't know. But these are some of the struggles of being a pastor's kid.
So to the issue now is that, you know, when you look at it from the standpoint that I'm a PK, so no. But the kind of, it will depend, sometimes it depends on the church.
Yeah.
So friendship here is that in order for me to win the favor of everyone, and the favor Osopho's children are enjoying, then let me be friends with Osopho's kids.
Okay.
You understand? So by default, people just find themselves, and you have influence.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
So much.
Sit here. You see that the moment you are seated, everyone sits.
Exactly.
You are running around, everyone is running around. Yes. So I think for me personally, having friends was not a struggle.
Yes, I remember telling one of my students that she wasn't happy being a pastor's kid. She always was complaining and all that. So I told her one time that has she realized we have some influence others don't. Like naturally, God knows it's a struggle being a PK. So I see every pastor's kid and the influence they have. I don't know if you've also noticed that.
Yes,
we have some kind of positive influence. At church, I am angry, my choristers are down.
Sure.
I'm happy, they're also in a good mood. If I lead praises and it's exciting, everybody else tends to be. And I have this notion that every pastor's kid has a talent. Do you agree to that notion?
It's a yes for me.
Is it God born or natural talent, or the ones that our parents just, you have to be a singer, a drummer, a pastor, a keyboardist, something?
There is a statement I have, and it's my personal conviction. Yes, that atmosphere is stronger than what you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Atmosphere is stronger than what you know. Okay.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you can be very, I won't do this, I won't do that. But an atmosphere will make you change.
Wow.
That is why we can have a PK who is very good, who go to senior high school. The atmosphere changes the person.
Very true.
Somebody who will leave to the tertiary, the atmosphere changes the person.
True.
So here is a home that an atmosphere has been created.
Wow.
You have no other plan than to fall within a line. If you are not playing the keyboard, you'll be a good speaker.
Very true.
If you are not speaking well, you'll be a good singer.
Very true.
If you are not singing,
playing the drums.
Exactly. So because of that atmosphere created for a particular space of time, you find yourself doing one thing or the other.
Very true. Okay, with the friendship aspect of the discussion, I still don't really have friends. Because growing up, my mother would just keep us in the room. Maybe it's because of the society we found ourselves in, because we live in a community where, you know, those bad influences and all that. So she just kept us in the room. So till now in my community, I don't have anybody to talk to. My friends are beyond. So secondary school, maybe friends from secondary school, friends from tertiary are the only friends I have. By my community, I don't have anybody. So personally, I thought at a point it was because I was a pastor's kid. But from what you are saying, I think it's because my mother didn't want me to. So just her confining me in the room. All right, so that's a different perspective though.
Sure.
Now, so fitting into the society is another thing. You know, we grow up, we are home. Did you go to a boarding school? Secondary school?
Yes, not for a full time. It was my later time when I was about completing.
But why didn't you go to a boarding school from the beginning?
Actually, at that time of our life, my dad was not around.
Okay.
And there was a family business and it had to be managed.
Okay.
So a way of helping the family was me staying behind to.
My dad has an opinion that his children will never go to boarding school.
Wow.
Because he believes that is where the whole negative influence comes in. So he believes that. So we all didn't. It was only Pastor Prince.
Okay.
Because he was going to write Wasi, he had to cry, throw tantrums and all that before he was allowed. The two of us, we were not.
Oh, okay.
We're not at all. So that's where the making friends also comes in.
Okay.
All right. So how do we fit into society as pastor's kid? Because I feel like we are different. Okay, we come, the atmosphere bit you talked about, like we are in a different atmosphere. Then now we have to fit into a general society because we go to secondary school, it's a different society.
Sure.
We go to tertiary, it's a different, and now we even have to work with other people. It's a different society. So how then, as a PK, how then do you fit in? Coming from an atmosphere of spirituality,
Sure.
how do you fit in into the world?
The world is a big space.
Yes.
And truth is, one wise man will say that the clouds or the sky is so huge that there cannot be collision. Yes, I believe in it strongly. That as a pastor's kid, yet you were raised at home, but you have to fit into society. Your fitting into society makes you a model of society.
Okay.
Yes, because at the end of the day, we believe you have to find yourself in the space of, let's say, entertainment.
Yes.
In the space of maybe business.
Yes.
And I'll say business too has a way of fighting our faith.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, being a PK. A PK, basically, you're a Christian.
Yeah.
Yes, and there are certain businesses you can't do as a PK.
Exactly.
Yes, that is why I'm saying that from my stand, I think you standing out or you fitting into society is by standing out.
Okay.
It's that way, it makes it easier for you. When you're able to stand out, people will follow. But when you fit in, you'll be like us.
Okay.
So where is your stand? You understand? So pastor's kids for me, I think based on the traits and the trainings you are given at home, in society always you stand out so that people can look up to you.
Okay.
Because any pastor's kid that in the Bible that I know that fits in didn't end well.
You need to end well.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so let me give an example, maybe an example that will resonate or correlate with what we're actually discussing. So fitting into the society, let me give an example.
Okay.
Let's say I don't use the term worldly songs. I don't want to use the term worldly songs. But I know there are this kind of songs. What term should I use for those ones? I don't know. But the kind of songs we don't listen to. So personally, I only do gospel songs.
Oh, wow.
I can do that tag. It has always been that since childhood. Anybody who has known me, there's nobody who can stand out there and say, I heard Victoria listening to this. That is not true. So I don't do those ones since childhood. Maybe personally I didn't like it, but my brother trained me to believe that whatever we listen to, our spirit conforms to.
Sure.
So growing up, it's always been gospel songs from day one. So let's say you now have to work in a community or let's say an organization. Mm-hmm. You have to interview, I'm looking for right words, I don't step on any toe. Mm-hmm. But I have to interview probably an artist who is not into gospel. Sure. So the other side, I don't want to use worldly songs, but who is not into gospel, the other side. And you'd have to use words you don't have to. That's like fitting into the society. Okay. That's where you find yourself. Mm-hmm. So how do you go about that?
Wow, that's a very interesting question. Yes. A thought-provoking one. But I would say that, it's the place of work.
Okay.
Yes, and I believe work must not be mixed with religion.
Okay.
Yes, to an extreme. There are certain works that do not confine with your religion or your set of beliefs.
Yeah.
You must not do.
Okay.
Yes, because everybody within the trend of the Israelites could have been a priest. Yeah. But for God's own wisdom, in order to avoid a form of distortion or a form of distraction to his priestly role, he set aside a particular group of people that lived as priests unto him, and then the others could do other works.
Okay.
So sometimes your affiliation in the church and you becoming a PK should take you out of certain works.
Okay.
Yes, it should take you. But if you've also grown such that you've been built that you can stand the test of time.
Okay.
Stepping into any field of endeavor that will not make you, be tagged in society. Osofo Bamponi, that statement.
I don't want to hear that.
That statement. Osofo Bamponi,
Bamponi.
The best and the safest way is to play according to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm giving
according to the
another
rules.
scenario.
Okay.
Have you realized, there's this statement, I saw for Madi on one say, I don't know if you heard that while I was growing up.
Yeah.
At a point in life, I didn't want to be tagged as a pastor's kid.
Wow.
If my brothers are watching this or my parents, they will attest to that fact. It was when I came to understand Christ for myself.
Yeah.
Then I knew it's not about being a pastor's child, but knowing Christ for myself. Because growing up, I didn't want to be tagged. Because society, I couldn't be normal. I could go and play with people in school. We would all make mistakes, but just being a pastor's kid, it was always used that Pastor Bana, say, I don't know if you get it. So I hated that tag. So at a point, if I met a group of people and I had to introduce myself, and somebody brought it or yourself, I always felt offended. I didn't want to. So I have seen a couple of people out of trying to fit into the society.
Sure.
They do things they are not supposed to.
Exactly.
This is where my question of fitting into the society comes in. Let me give another scenario. So as a pastor's kid, I want to be with this caliber of boys. Okay. Let's say I'm a boy. Okay. I want to be with this caliber of friends. I want to be in this group. But they all take alcohol. Mm-hmm. They all do this. They all do that. To be a part of it, I have to do something that relates with them. That is where most pastors' kids can't differentiate. They end up doing things where they are tagged. I saw for ma say, I saw for ma you say, I saw for ma. So that's where my fitting into society comes in. Because I believe that we can't be a world on our own. Sure. In as much as we are very influential, we can't build an empire on our own.
Sure.
There are caliber of people we would want to mingle with to get to where we want to get to. What if this caliber of people are like that and we have to relate to them one way or the other? That is where my fitting in comes in.
Okay, so I want to look out for something that will also make it simple for us to have this understanding that when you are being raised in a class, let's say in an English class, okay, the test of your brilliance is during an English session. That is when we see how intelligent you are. So if I'm a pastor and I've raised my kid and I want to test if really I have raised them, it is in the space of these people that I'll test that indeed I've raised my children. It is easy for you to say you are neat, living in an area where there is no dust.
Like an estate.
Yes, like an estate. It's easy for you to say I'm neat.
I'm neat,
Yeah. But for you to leave the estate and ply the route of, let's say, a dusty community.
Or a slum.
A slum. And live within, and we still see you are neat, it means you are neat.
That's when we can't tell.
Exactly. But if you've been there in the estate and we bring you down to the slum and you can't thrive, it means there was a problem with your training. Yes. So in fitting in, I will say there is a way we can move along, that we belong on certain terms but not on certain terms. Actually, I had this scenario, some time ago, not a scenario, it was my own life, that people were looking up to me to the point that his father is the one, those people where it looks like the deacon looks powerful than the pastor. Exactly, this kind of churches. So people were looking up to us, and at a point, people would talk about girls, and I'm the shy type. You understand? Like, to stand in front of somebody no, I wouldn't do it. But it was in the association of boys that I mastered the courage of speech. It was out of a bad company.
So you see the positivity in
Yes, it was out of a bad company. Somebody discovered that I'll be a good speaker.
Okay.
Yes, it wasn't at church, because home, my parents knew me to be the calm guy, the angel in the house. I hardly offend. You've been raised in such a way that you know that my life. Yes,
my house, certain words are not even allowed.
Exactly. So with time, I realized that it was helping, but it was in the fitting in aspect, not fitting in.
Okay.
I'll say this. There's a difference between a man from God and a man of God.
Of God, okay.
Yes, a man of God, it means a part of God. A man from God means God bringing the person to us. Yes. So some kids, when you talk about these associations, some of us will be of them, but we are not from them.
From them, okay.
Yes.
So I hope you are getting it. Of them, and not from them.
Yes, there is a part of us you can pick from them, like my capacity to speak. I picked it from my friends. And there are people who do all the kind of things that you wouldn't love to mention on set. They do it. But it was in their midst that I discovered this gift.
Yes.
You understand? So in fitting in, there is a way you can fit in that you will not belong.
Okay.
Fit in, but don't belong. Fit in the sense that there will be a shield to you. There will be a protection. They can be the people you speak to. I'm telling you, we have bad people out there, but there is a way you can dwell with them that you get the best of them.
Yeah.
Yes, your enemy could be my best friend.
I know, right?
You understand? My best friend could be your enemy. It's the same thing when it comes to this fitting in thing. You have people who are bad, but at the end of the day, there are good things you can learn from them.
Yeah, you get 1 point from
so
them.
be of them, but don't be from them.
Don't be from them. Oh,
I think that's
something we can munch on. Be of them, don't be from them.
Yes.
Okay, I'm learning something today about fitting into the society. Then another, probably our last question I would want to ask about fitting into the society. There is this other thing about pastor's kid. Those of us who follow, you know, some don't want to. If a pastor has like 4 kids, there's actually one who wouldn't want to follow the norm. I don't know if you've seen that trend with pastor's kid.
Yes,
but before that, why is that the firstborns? You always want to act like the angels of the family. If my big brother is watching, you are the target of.
Okay.
Like firstborn, people always want to act like the angels, making the rest of us look like we don't conform. We are like.
It's not a problem for me personally. It's something I'll say it's universal. Universal in the sense that the way you treat your first car, that will not be the same way you treat your last car.
Yeah.
And the subsequent ones.
Yeah.
The first car is handled with such dignity.
Very true.
So by default, the pastor wants to raise his kind with the firstborn.
Yeah, very true.
Yes,
very
so
true.
it's everywhere. Even as it stands now, if you pay attention to people who are doing well in other areas of life, they want their kids to be like them.
Yeah,
not only, firstborns.
Yes.
Not only in the line of pastoring. But the thing is, this particular child being my firstborn, if people see this boy, every firstborn is a test. I always say that every firstborn is a litmus paper. We are going to use you for a test. Everything I know, I have to infuse in you. Everything that I wish I could be, that I couldn't be, we have to infuse in you. So by default, all the training goes to the firstborn. We push the firstborn. Before it gets to the second and thirdborn, it looks like our parents are tired. The flow of consistency definitely will decline. So you see, at a point, it was only one child. It's easy for you to, provided there is no car, it's easy for you to sit in a car with that one born and take him to a prayer place, take him for programs to observe.
Very true.
But now you are 3 and daddy hasn't got a car. It means when he picks you in a trotro, you know how the Ghanaian trotro system is. That and the home baby and you get it. So out of that,
killed me.
Yes. The home baby. At the end of the day, the focus will always be on the firstborn, and then he will enjoy the best of his dad, and sometimes the lastborn.
Yeah.
Yes, the lastborn will face the pressure of, because maybe I want my son to understand the concept of praises and worship, so that while I'm preaching, he's singing.
Yeah.
Or while I'm preaching, he's playing the keyboard, mommy's singing. And it happens to be that in the line of training, he misses it with the firstborn. Mommy gradually is growing. The lastborn is in trouble.
Very true.
Because everything you have to learn how to do, so that
everything they couldn't achieve
exactly
with
the lapses in the ministry, you fit in so that you bring light to it.
Okay. Yes. Then even before I forget this,
don't forget.
Fathers, mothers, in fact, your firstborn was your target. Reduce the pressure on some of us. It's too much. It's like we have to do it. Sometimes I feel so burdened. You have to do it. You know, I don't know your church though.
Sure.
But I see sometimes if it's a church where it's not a one-man church, it's like you don't have so much burden that like your father establishing the church. And then if he establishes, even though there's going to be, personally my father's church, there's how do they call that? They have this book, I've forgotten the name for. It governs the church and all that.
Is it a church constitution?
The constitution.
Sure.
It governs the church. So he doesn't want it to be like a one-man church.
Okay.
But I feel like we are burdened. Like we are burdened to do it. So sometimes I get to argue with them. You know the firstborns are like angels. But the subsequent ones, we are like, you say one, we want to argue, let you tell us why we have to do it. I feel like we are burdened. I have to do this. I also feel like allow me to know I have to do this on my own. Not you pressuring me to do that. And you know that's what affects us fitting into society. We are strange, oh. If you've not noticed, you see when we came in, we heard comments like, I saw for Madi or Homer say, we are strange humans. Sometimes because we are forced, we are pressured.
Okay.
Yes. Personally, I feel we are pressured.
Okay, so...
I didn't grow up normal. Because I believe when I was a kid, I was supposed to play, I didn't play. I believe I was supposed to have toys, I didn't have toys. How can I be fasting at 8 years? Who is killing me? Who is after my life? It helped though, right? I'm not saying it didn't help. It really helped shape my life. But I feel like we are pressured. Maybe they should let us understand that we are different. So we have to do things differently. But I know we grew up in with parents in a generation where they didn't know how to communicate.
Sure.
So everything was like, oh, baby. So most of them grew up with this mentality, there's so much pressure, and now they want to run away from the church. That is where they do other things they are not supposed to, so that parents will even sack them from the house. Please give your view on this so that we can...
My thoughts on this is simple. My Christian experience has been tied down to Jesus, all about Jesus.
You know Christ.
Yes. So the truth is, did Jesus come to the earth to be a carpenter? No. But the home he grew up in had a carpentry store.
Yeah.
He was a carpenter.
Wow. We hear that.
So if I mean in this studio session, by default, any child that will grow up in this home will know how to turn the light on.
They play drums.
Exactly.
He shouldn't actually play drums. He has 2 boys, 1 girl. One boy plays drums, the other plays keyboard, and the girl sings.
Exactly. So nobody pressured them under this. That is the home.
Yes.
The mission of Jesus was not to be a carpenter.
Very true.
But he came in the line of carpentry and he had to learn it.
Even though the purpose was to die.
Exactly.
But because of where he grew up, he had to.
You had to.
Wow,
so it's not, talking about the constitution of the church and looking at it in the light of what are people saying and what are people thinking. Yes, you don't have any alternatives. I always say that kids are a product of a marriage.
Yeah.
Yes. And byproducts cannot tell the manufacturer what to do.
Wow. Repeat that. Repeat. We need that. Repeat that.
So I said the byproducts of a thing cannot tell the manufacturer what to do with it. It's the manufacturer who determines the purpose of the item. And long before you see people making the statement that before I give birth to you, the Lord has told me what you have to do. Yeah. Yes, you, these kids, being in a church where it happens to be that the pastor is a founding father, trust me, you are samples. We are using you as a model to the world that this is what we can make out of our church. So your life is not on your own. In the light of that, when you join the military, do you tell them what you want to do?
Not
so pastor's kids out there. You can't tell us what you want to do. We can keep you to a place of grooming. But in the course of the training, you discover yourself.
Very true.
So that we allow. When you look at, there are some big churches I know in Ghana that the pastors are pastors. They raise their kids in the light of scripture and the word. But they end up being photographers.
Very true.
They end up being musicians. They end up... So in the course of the training, after 25 years, I believe after 25 years, you leave your children's decision to them. But for the first 25 years,
you never can decide.
Yeah, my kid.
I say what you have to do.
Yes, I say what you have to do. But in the light of raising you, I raise you in the way that you discover yourself. I don't shut your dreams. I don't kill whatever thing you have with you. Yes, at a point, Jesus could ask the question, don't you know I'm about my Father's business? Yes, that was discovery.
Yes,
he was discovering himself. It was gradually. So in the light of the training, when you discover yourself as a parent or as a pastor, they help you on the line. Some of us didn't get it that way. We have to be tossed to and fro. As I sit here right now, my parents were looking at producing a medical doctor out of me. Yeah, they wanted to have a pharmacist out of me. But growing up, I realized, yes, I was relating till I got to a point in life. I realized this was not my thing. Yeah, this was not my thing. And going back to them to tell them it was not my thing, then I have to strive to get myself right.
Prove a point to them.
Yes, that indeed this is what I've been called to do. And today they are happy of what I'm doing, and they're happy. about what I'm doing. You understand? Yes. So
He's a teacher.
Yes.
He's a teacher. When I actually tell people I've always wanted to teach, you don't believe it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I've always, my big brother was a teacher at a point.
Okay.
And he was so good. That's Pastor Prince.
Sure.
He was so, oh God, he was so good. We were in a school where we were doing so bad. He came in everything 10. So it was like an inspiration. So I've always wanted to, and people don't believe that, but he's a teacher and he's doing so well in ministry too. And I'm a teacher and I enjoy being a teacher. Though.
Sure, I also enjoy
I enjoy it. Like, when I'm in the classroom, they have no idea. Like, my children are like, why are you so happy doing this job?
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy that, but I like something you said so much. You can't tell the producer or the manufacturer what to do. Yeah. So maybe along the line, as pastor's kid, born into the household, we have to be groomed like pastor's children. Maybe along the line, when you discover, but I feel like every pastor's kid, even when I was growing up, even when you want to move away, there's still that fear of God in you.
Oh yeah, I stepped out. I stepped
you.
out at a point in my life, and I happened to have joined a group of boys that what they were doing were not in line with my dictates, but I have to follow. It will shock you. I never did anything they were doing, but we moved all the time. To a point, somebody made a statement like, as far as he walks with them,
he does what he
does. And then my friends will tell them, that boy, he's the demon amongst us. Somebody who joins us when we are doing the bad things, but he never does.
He never participates.
No, I always tell people that there was a transition point in our lives where we had to depart from our parents.
Yeah.
We stayed in a home where they sell weed. We stayed in a home where they sell kinky, a home where there was a gym, a home where alcohol was present.
Okay.
But that doctrine or that teaching that has been instilled in us caused us to survive through. I don't take alcohol, I don't smoke, I don't do all of those things, but then that were the confines within which I grew up in. You understand? So it's about the intensity of the training and not acting as, oh, because they are with me, they will know it. No. No. It doesn't happen magically. Okay. Like you started, what has kept you on track is the 8-year-old. There was a seed in you didn't know.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yes. So the 8-year-old fasting was putting the seed in shape. It was bringing it. But if you look at it, I want to be like, I want to bring. No. You won't take you anywhere. You wouldn't have been sitting here today.
I know.
Yeah, by now you could do with a gang, doing your own thing, and then at the end of the day, later some 20, 30 years, you come back as a prodigal son. Daddy, I'm here.
They always do.
Yes. No. You're a PK and that is it.
Yeah.
God has his reasons for putting you there.
Yes.
God has a reason.
God has a reason for keeping you as a PK. I've enjoyed this session. But you know what? We'll be right back to continue with the session. Being a pastor's kid and fitting into the society. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back and thank you for staying tuned. Let's acknowledge our sponsors. We have Boat Roofing. They are so good in roofing. If you are building, you need people to roof. There is a whole company on its own, not for an individual. So you can contact them. Their numbers will be below the screen. Contact them for anything roofing. And as Pastor's Kid today, we have learned a lot. Personally, I've learned a lot because I had a mindset or opinion that this is stressful. But for Jesus to find himself, based on what Osofo said, as a carpenter's son, yes. And then he had to learn that even though he had a goal of dying, like that whole bit, that is deep. So we don't have any option. As far as you are born into the household of a pastor, you have to behave differently. You have to stand out. Osofo, back to you. I am so grateful. Like you have enlightened me personally. Maybe this was for the people, but personally, I have learned a lot. Because just last week, I was arguing with my brother over all this pastor's kid bit. He wants me to kill myself for the church. I'm like, I've done enough. I am tired. He's like this, that. But from what I have heard today, I have to stand out as a pastor. Sure. And I'm already doing that. Maybe I have to go the extra mile. Sure. So God, we have a conversation later. But thank you so much for coming. And I think our other topic about leadership, you still come on. Sure. Because I know you're a leader at church. I would want us to talk about being a pastor's kid and then having to be a leader too and how everything has to go down. Sure. So thank you so much for coming, Pastor Marvin. Let's turn it up for him. We are so grateful. And thank you, viewers, for staying today with us. Please subscribe click on the bell icon. So when we drop any video any day, you would be notified of it. And if you're a Pastor's Kid, you're a church member, you know some of the church members, they see us as weird humans. So watching this video also enlighten you, not just Pastor's Kid. So invite somebody, share the link with somebody, you know, share the link. So it's not our but share the link, PK's children. All right, so share the link, subscribe, and in the next video, we hope you're going to enjoy this video and every other video. Thank you so much. Bye.